Hey everybody, and happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. There's a nonprofit in the town that I live in called Vacaville People Forum, and every year they do a really good job putting together an event on Dr. King Day. And this year, lo and behold, they actually asked me to be a featured speaker at this event, which I was completely blown away by, shocked by, you name it. And then I got the list of other featured speakers, and I was like, oh my goodness, I gotta step my game up. They got some good folks. And anyway, hopefully I can be a part of that as well. But I put together a speech, and this episode is gonna be a bonus episode. It's coming out on Dr. King's Day, and if you're listening to this, I may have already given the speech. Maybe I'm giving to it in just a little bit. But regardless, Courtside Forever is all about being present for your kids and just being present as a parent. And this speech, while it is very much about Dr. King's legacy, for me, Dr. King's legacy can be found in my kids. That is absolutely my legacy, and for a lot of reasons, Dr. King means the world to me. So anyway, I wanted to put together this speech and kind of turn it into a podcast. So I've changed it a little bit for this format. But anyway, it's a bonus episode. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for being here for another episode of Courtside Forever, because as parents, we've got the best seats in the house. Let's enjoy them. A few years ago, I published a children's book titled, Is This Your Favorite Ice Cream? It's about a father and a daughter who travel the country to find their favorite ice cream. In the book, which is essentially about sharing life's sweetest moments with the people you love most, our characters visit many ice cream shops and historical landmarks, including a special one in Washington, D.C. And if you read it, you'll notice our characters are standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, looking out over the National Mall, enjoying a nice scoop of ice cream in their finest clothes. If you're a kid, you probably won't see anything other than a dad and his daughter enjoying some ice cream together. But for me, that illustration means more to me than you know, as it symbolizes the father taking his daughter to the same place where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his famous I Have a Dream speech on August 28th, 1963. When I was 9, our family traveled to Atlanta, Georgia for a family function. But while there, my mom, aunt, and I took a detour to some historical sightseeing. On this trip, I visited the home where Dr. King was born. Even at 9, I felt the weight of the historical presence. I could almost hear a little Dr. King running those tiny halls and just being a normal kid, just like I was. Next, we visited Dr. King's church, Ebenezer Baptist Church, where they let me stand at the pulpit where a young Dr. King learned how to speak to a crowd and form his message of love, justice, and hope, rooted in the awe-inspiring foundation of Jesus Christ. I could almost feel the course of history being changed inside those walls. Lastly, we visited the King Center, where in the middle of this beautiful pond lay the tomb of Dr. King, which, as a kid, was heavy. It was the first time that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Mr. I Have a Dream, the man I only knew through black and white photos, felt as real as the goosebumps on my skin. Dr. King wasn't an idea anymore. He was a son, a husband, a dad, and a writer. We know Dr. King today for his message of nonviolence and his passion for bringing communities together. Still, I think it's important to remember that on April 4th, 1968, Dr. King was arguably the most hated man in America. His message of equity, equality, and togetherness opposed the social order in which most folks in 1968 grew up. When white clergymen from Alabama told Dr. King to cool it, worrying about the violence that was stemming from the civil rights movement, Dr. King said, "You deplore the demonstrations that are presently taking place in Birmingham, but I am sorry that your statement did not express a similar concern for the conditions that brought the demonstrations into being." Speaking truth to power isn't easy. It's certainly not popular. Dr. King unjustly sat in a jail cell in Birmingham, Alabama, and while any number of us would stew in anger over the lack of fairness in America's justice system, Dr. King penned one of the greatest letters in human history, a letter that might as well have been written today. Dr. King had a vision rooted in Jesus and justice, and while his earthly vision was taken from us far too early, the reason we stand here today isn't even because of Dr. King himself. It's because of Coretta Scott King, Dr. King's wife, and millions of largely unnamed ordinary Americans who took the baton on April 4th, 1968 and said, "I'm not letting this work die alone." The work doesn't have to be popular, it doesn't even have to be liked. I know somewhere in this timeline we've been taught to believe that our work should be measured in engagement and analytics only, but we're here today as proof that goodness prevails, justice wins, and maybe not today, and maybe not in the timeline that we choose, but the work of building a better future for tomorrow isn't done for instant gratification. There is no end date to equality. No matter our progress, someone will always try to knock us down, set us back, or tell us that we just need to cool it. History is the long and tragic story of the fact that privileged groups seldom give up their privileges voluntarily. That much has always been true, and yes, it's easy to be pessimistic. The irony of this speech on this day is not lost on me. But as I look at the 250,000 diverse men and women who traveled all over America to attend the 1963 March on Washington, I choose hope. And as I look at my daughters and their infinite future, I will always choose hope. Setbacks have always been a part of the American dream, but never bigger than our resiliency to rise.